lovely people. Today I have got something for you that I found in a trash bin from the neighboring attic that was taken down and put down and should be thrown away, and so I saved it. And it's not just these few notebooks, it's just a lot more. That it was a full trunk of these kind of notebooks I wanted to show you. And what is it? It's school notebooks from 1860. Some are from 1865 and some stuff here is 1858. This is a time when in Germany, it's from the county of Gotha. This is a time when German was not united. In the French-German War, 1870 and 1871, the Germany was united by the Prussians in Versailles because they fought the French, and then later on they united Germany. But before, there were a lot of little states it was not just one state, it was thousands of tiny states, and it was not united then, at that time. It's the time of the secession wars, of the wars in the 1860s in America, North against South. So that's a really funny thing. And these notebooks are from that period. As old, it's really crazy that they have survived, because I did not expect that they had school notebooks back then, because what I know from my grandparents, that they had a lot of, we called Schiefertafel, that's a stone plate where you could write on and you could sweep it away. So that was commonly used even in the 1930s, 1940s. Like these notebooks, I don't know if they were a rare thing, but they existed, and that was a crazy thing what I did not expect back in the time, because my grandparents told me other stories from their time in the school. So it's an interesting thing, because it seems that they even learned to write on notebooks and not on what we call Schiefertafel. So that's an interesting thing. So what's interesting is, how did this look like? So you see some algebra, and it's a really interesting thing. You see that they, for training. And as I said, it's such a simple stuff in life that normally the people would have thrown it away after some years. But this is really old. So that's fancy. So how did the people get their lines? And you see it here. And you see this here, the lines are very clear to get written. How did they do this on a blank paper? It's very simple. Back then, they used these papers here to put under the empty page, and through the page you could see the lines, or here the squares, to do your algebra, to write. So, and that's how they got this in the very straight lines, and you don't see the lines anymore. So they did not print each line on each page of paper. So then, here you see the empty page, and this is, you put this on the back side, and so it shines through. So then, what's interesting what I thought up would be really funny, because this guy seemed to be a very, very good schooler, student, and he has not much. I have some pages, but I don't find this as fast now. That they in that time, 1860, that the teacher wrote his signature in red, and even also when something was wrong, he wrote in red inside. And this is a funny thing. I went to school back in the 1980s, and the teachers still used the red ink for getting stuff noticed as wrong, and or getting corrected or whatever. And even when the teacher had seen it, they did the signing on after the the what they had to bring back from home, or so what they had to do at home, the work at home. So that's a crazy thing. So then, how did they train writing? It's really interesting. I have here a small book. This is from 1858, so really old. You see it on the back side. And this is something where the letters, the simple single letters, and even even small words and so on, how they are connected, the letters, how they could, the schooler, the student could simply has to write down, to copy what's in this little book here on the paper. So this is how they learned it back then. And then what's also interesting is as I said, I was in school in the 1980s, and we also had these kinds of stuff. That's where the hours when what subject in on each day in each school day would be. You would write in this what's called a Stundenplan. It's the hourly plan of the subjects you had, and what you see here. It's for me it's a not very good to read because it's a very old-fashioned way of writing. But what they had was on Wednesday religion, on Monday religion, on Friday religion, and there's maybe a lot of other things, similar things, and also Stilübung. That's how to write. It's a style, this is the style your writing is, but it's different to US school system where you have each day the same. It varies. So you don't have it. It's typical for German, and it's still typical as it's still today. But you see that it's even. This is maybe a very early one from 1850s, from 1858. That you have to have different subjects each day. So, and even very long days. This is from, the latest is from 4 to 5 p.m. and they start at 7 a.m. with school. So it's very long days. But this was back then. So very crazy. And what I have here is, as I said, you have very small regions. So what we have is, or even I in the 1980s had this subject, Heimatkunde. That's about the region. You have to learn it in a very low grade. You have to learn about where you're living. And it's really interesting because this is, as I said, it's Gotha. It's Herzogtum Gotha, the country of Duke. He's sitting in Gotha, and so it's about where the bank is and where the official places are in Gotha and so on. So the kids had to read, and this is questions when you are back home and you want to train for a test or so. This questions like this. So it's really interesting what they did back then in the 1860s, and I didn't even know that they wrote on paper, because as I said, my granny in the 1940s, 30s, they learned writing on what we call a Schiefertafel. That's a plate from a stone, a special stone, and then they write on and they could swap it away. So they had not to use the paper, but I did not know, and this was the first time I had seen it on the attic of the neighbor, that they even use these kind of school notebooks, because I always expected that even in the early years, where you're just training mathematics and or algebra, and where you are just training to how to write, that this notebooks were used, paper was used to write on. So I did not know this, and it was really interesting. I have not seen this before. So very interesting. Look at the next attic. What special stuff is up for you to find there, and how many crazy stories are there. So I hope you learned something new today, and I hope that it was a little bit inspiring. So maybe be interesting in history, and please look at the channel here. I do more stuff about history and about movie decoration, whatever, and a lot of back information, so costume design and so on. And so yeah, I hope you keep watching. Look at the channel, it's maybe a little bit interesting. Leave a comment, and yeah, hope to see you soon. Bye.